What's up, Wrestle Scope family, and welcome to the most explosive breakdown you're going to see today. If you're watching this right now, buckle up, because what I'm about to reveal is going to send shockwaves through the entire WWE Universe. We're talking about betrayal, we're talking about vengeance, and we're talking about the architect of destruction making a statement that nobody saw coming. This is the kind of news that makes you want to smash that like button, rip open that comment section, and share this video with every single wrestling fan you know, because what happened is absolutely unforgivable. I'm talking about Seth Freakin Rollins, the AOP, and the complete and utter annihilation of everything we thought we knew. Let's get into it. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. How dare Seth Rollins come back and think he can just destroy what so many people have built? How dare he align himself with the most ruthless enforcers in WWE history and decide that his vision is the only vision that matters? You heard me right. Seth Rollins, the same man who preached about being a locker room leader, the same man who claimed he was fighting for the future of Monday Night Raw, the same man who promised he would never turn his back on the WWE Universe, has just committed the most heinous act we've seen in years. And here's what's going to really tick you off. He's calling it necessary. He's calling it evolution. He's standing there with a calm and Razor, the authors of pain, and he's laughing at everyone who believed in him. He's mocking every single fan who chanted his name, who bought his merchandise, who defended him when everyone else called him a sellout. Let me tell you something right now. This isn't just a storyline twist. This is a slap in the face to every single person who thought Seth Rollins had finally found his purpose. This is a complete character assassination of everything the vision was supposed to represent. And you know what the worst part is? The WWE Universe is divided right now. Half of you are sitting there saying, oh, this is brilliant storytelling, this is what wrestling needs. And the other half, the smart half, knows that this is nothing more than lazy booking designed to get cheap heat. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video, go down to that comment section, and tell me, are you Team Rollins, or do you think he's made the biggest mistake of his career? Because trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to have strong opinions, and I want to hear every single one. All right, let's rewind the clock and talk about how we got here, because this story is months in the making, and if you haven't been paying attention, you've missed some crucial details. Remember when Seth Rollins returned after his injury earlier this year? He came back with fire in his eyes, talking about creating the Vision, a new era of Monday Night Raw where the best would rise to the top and the old guard would finally step aside. He was passionate, he was driven, he was the leader we all thought Raw needed. The Vision was supposed to be about opportunity. It was about giving the younger talent a chance to shine. Rollins recruited some of the hungriest competitors in WWE, people who'd been overlooked, people who'd been pushed aside by the establishment. He was building something real, something authentic. For weeks we watched as the Vision took on the authority figures, took on the veterans who refused to relinquish their spots, and took on anyone who stood in the way of progress. And you know what? The WWE Universe was behind him. People were buying in. People believed that Seth Rollins had finally become the hero Monday Night Raw deserved. But then things started to change. It started with small things, a questionable attack here, a controversial promo there. Rollins started talking less about opportunity and more about control. He started talking less about the future and more about his legacy. The cracks were showing, but most of us, including me, we gave him the benefit of the doubt. We said, no, Seth's just being aggressive. Seth's just trying to prove a point. Seth would never betray the Vision. Oh, how wrong we were. Fast forward to last week, and everything came crashing down in the most brutal fashion imaginable. The Vision was supposed to have a major announcement, something that would change Monday Night Raw forever. The entire locker room gathered. The WWE Universe was on the edge of their seats. And then, the lights went out. When they came back on, there they were. A calm and Razor, the authors of pain, standing on either side of Seth Rollins like two attack dogs ready to be unleashed. And the look on Rollins' face, it wasn't remorse, it wasn't hesitation. It was pure, unadulterated satisfaction. Let me paint you a picture of the chaos that unfolded, because if you missed this segment, you missed one of the most vicious attacks in recent WWE history. The first victim, the very people who trusted Seth Rollins, the members of the Vision who had stood by his side, who had fought his battles, who believed in everything he said, they were destroyed. I'm talking about devastating knee strikes. I'm talking about brutal power bombs. I'm talking about the kind of systematic destruction that makes you question whether this is even entertainment anymore, or just pure carnage.
A common razor moved through that ring like machines. No mercy, no hesitation, just pure, calculated violence. And Seth Rollins, he stood there like a general watching his army eliminate the opposition. He didn't lift a finger himself. He didn't need to. That's the sick part. He orchestrated the entire thing like a puppet master pulling the strings. One by one, every member of the Vision fell, and with each body that hit the mat, Seth Rollins' smile grew wider. This wasn't a man who was conflicted. This wasn't a man who was making a difficult choice. This was a man who had planned this from the very beginning. The crowd was in absolute shock. You could hear a pin drop in that arena. Fans were covering their mouths, some were crying, and others were so angry they were throwing their merchandise at the ring. This was a nuclear level of heat. But it didn't stop there. Oh no, it got worse. After the initial attack, when everyone thought it was over, Seth Rollins grabbed a microphone, and what he said next is going to be replayed and debated for years to come. He looked directly into the camera, sweat dripping down his face, his eyes cold and calculated, and he said, "The Vision was never about them. It was never about you. The Vision has always been about me controlling my destiny. And these two gentlemen," he gestured to a common razor, "these are the only people I can trust to help me achieve true power in WWE. You wanted a revolution? You wanted change? Well, congratulations, you got it. And now everyone who stands in my way, every wrestler, every authority figure, every fan who thinks they know what's best for Seth Rollins, you're all going to learn the same lesson these people learned tonight. Bend the knee or get broken." The audacity, the absolute nerve of this man. And then, as if to add insult to injury, the AOP delivered one final statement. They grabbed the remnants of the Vision's banner, the very symbol that represented hope and opportunity, and they ripped it to shreds right there in the middle of the ring. They set it on fire. The imagery was powerful, it was shocking, and it was the final nail in the coffin of everything we thought the Vision represented. Social media exploded. Twitter was trending worldwide. Hashtag Seth Rollins is a traitor. Hashtag AOP destruction. Hashtag the Vision is dead. All of these hashtags were dominating the conversation. Fans were livid. Wrestlers were tweeting their disgust. Even WWE legends were coming out of the woodwork to condemn what they had just witnessed. But here's what's going to make you even more angry. Some people are defending this. Some fans are sitting there saying, "Oh, this is Seth Rollins at his best. This is the heel turn we've been waiting for. This is real storytelling." Let's break down exactly why this is such a controversial moment and why the WWE Universe is more divided than ever before. First of all, let's talk about the betrayal aspect. Seth Rollins has a history of turning on his allies. We all remember the Shield breakup back in 2014 when he smashed a chair over Roman Reigns' back. We remember when he turned on Dean Ambrose. We remember all the times Seth has put himself above everyone else. So the question is, are we really surprised by this? Some fans are saying, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times? That's just bad creative." And honestly, they have a point. How many times can WWE go back to the same well with Seth Rollins before it becomes stale? But then there's the other side of the argument, the people who say that this time is different. This time, Seth isn't just turning heel for the sake of it. He's making a calculated business decision. He's aligning himself with 2 of the most destructive forces in WWE because he knows that's the only way to maintain power in an increasingly chaotic landscape. The AOP connection is fascinating from a storyline perspective. These guys were last seen as Raw's enforcers years ago, and their return was completely unexpected. Nobody saw this coming, and that's what makes it so effective from a storytelling standpoint. The element of surprise, the shock value, it's what wrestling is all about. But let's talk about the real controversy here. What does this mean for the Vision storyline? For months, WWE invested in building Vision as this grassroots movement of hungry, talented wrestlers who wanted to change the status quo. Fans were invested in these characters. Fans cared about their journey. And now, with one brutal attack, all of that has been thrown in the garbage. This is what I call scorched earth booking. WWE has essentially told us that everything we watched for the past several months was meaningless. All those matches, all those promos, all that character development, it was all just a setup for Seth Rollins to get cheap heat. And that's what's making fans so angry. You've got wrestlers like Sami Zayn tweeting things like, "What was the point of all that if they were just going to destroy it?" You've got fans creating petition websites demanding that WWE reverse this decision. You've got people canceling their Peacock subscriptions in protest. This is the kind of booking that creates real emotion, but is it the right kind of emotion? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a heel turn that made you want to stop watching? Because that's what some fans are saying right now. They're not saying, "Wow, I can't wait to see Seth Rollins get his comeuppance." They're saying, "I'm done with this show. I'm done with WWE wasting my time and emotional investment." That's dangerous territory for any wrestling promotion to be in. Now, let's talk about the AOP themselves. A common Razor have always been positioned as monsters, legitimate intimidating forces who can destroy anyone in their path. Their alliance with Seth Rollins makes perfect sense from a character standpoint. Rollins is the brains, they're the muscle. Together they form an unstoppable faction. But here's my concern. How long before this becomes boring? We've seen the dominant heel faction storyline 1,000 times. We've seen it with Evolution, we've seen it with The Shield, we've seen it with the Bloodline. How is this going to be any different? What's going to make this iteration special and not just another rerun of the same old formula? WWE needs to answer these questions fast or they risk losing the audience they've worked so hard to build. Let's dive into what the WWE Universe is saying, because trust me, the reactions have been explosive. Twitter has been an absolute war zone since this went down. You've got fans posting videos of themselves burning their Seth Rollins merchandise. You've got people creating memes mocking the entire angle. You've got full-on debates happening in every comment section across every wrestling platform. One fan tweeted, "Seth Rollins has officially become the most hated man